Well, President Trump says the U.S. will begin new talks with Iran today after backing down from his threat to launch a massive attack on the regime with, quote, power not seen since World War II.
It would have been a massive attack. We're all set to go. But when the allies ask to call it off, you got to sort of say, well, we're ready to go anytime we want. Would I rather make a deal? I'm not looking to kill people.
And on social media, the president wrote that a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and end Tehran's nuclear threat is being discussed. But according to Iranian state media, the regime says the waterway will never return to its pre-war status and direct talks are not happening. CBS News Middle East contributor Courtney Kealy is live in our D.C. bureau with more on this. Courtney, good morning. This is a story we have seen over and over again. The president threatens a big attack on Iran, then he cancels it and says there's new negotiations. Then Iran says there's no talks. So what's going on here?
Well, let me put it in real context right now of what's happening in Iran. They're emboldened. They're not risk averse anymore. They had an unprecedented ballistic missile attack that they launched for the first time in their history. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps are in charge, and the 5 top leaders are all allies from the Iran-Iraq war. They have been through battle, they are battle hardened, and they've been through all of this, and they commit to the ideology of, of the grand supreme leader in charge, which is Mota Khamenei, and why they're doing this. So there are indirect talks going on between Iran and Oman about which channel they take. The Oman side, the Iran side, maybe going into Iran and coming out of Oman, Strait of Hormuz. There's no talks about nuclear yet. Iran still wants to enrich uranium, and they're really not commenting on this. Sometimes they do comment, and sometimes it's rude, but the foreign minister is traveling to Iraq today on a pilgrimage. He is not in negotiations or talks. So Iraq is stronger than they have been, arguably, since the beginning of the war in February, in late February. And now what we have to really recognize is there's an emboldened, tough leadership that's been battle-hardened before, that remains battle-hardened, and they're not talking today, they say.
And Courtney, I want to turn now to the situation in Gaza. Just last week, President Trump announced a breakthrough in peace talks between Israel and Hamas. Then the IDF launched deadly strikes on Gaza over the weekend. So what happened?
What happened was President Trump announced something as a major breakthrough, and some of it was really based on the deal that was made at Sharm el-Sheikh last October of 2025. And we had sort of a twinning of what happened in Iran, but different because we're talking about Hamas and Israel. The Israeli government, Prime Minister Netanyahu, did not speak publicly. It was only through his spokesman. There's not really a big endorsement of this or an agreement that it's a major breakthrough. You see these strikes happening in Gaza. At least 17 people were killed in these Gaza strikes. They happened in Gaza, Gaza City, and Han Yunis, south of Gaza City. They're just half of the population is displaced and living in dire humanitarian conditions. This has not changed. What it's supposed to do is Hamas is supposed to agree to disarm, and they want Israel to withdraw simultaneously. That's not what Israel is going to agree to. Israel wants Hamas disarmed and those weapons destroyed, not held by a neutral party, and then they say they'll withdraw. So another stalemate, not really a breakthrough anywhere, but we'll wait and see.
All right, Courtney Kealy in Washington, thank you.